Well, I'm here to participate in the inaugural meeting of the Emerging Powers Policy Forum. This is something that my team back in London has helped to sponsor with the German Marshall Fund, and we're delighted to be here today to be able to launch proceedings. The emerging powers matter to the UK because, in a sense, what we have to see is that our relationships in the world are determined by our interests, and interests change and flex with time and the changing external conditions of the world. The emerging powers, it's not a term I have to say I'm entirely comfortable with, because really what we're talking about is a group of countries that have strong, growing economies that are in many respects developed, whose rise has been a relatively recent rise, but it's a strong and important new context the world is operating in. And I'd like to think of this very much more in terms of partnerships in the world, necessarily than emerging economies. To a greater or lesser extent, these countries have emerged, they're factors today, and that's what I mean really by how we flex our interests in the world. We need to recognise that the world is changing, and that there is an international order that we are part of. We need to adapt to be able to grow new partnerships with countries who are going to be important to our interests. Well, I think it's a terrific initiative, and the reason I've come all the way from London to be part of this is really to demonstrate quite how important this is also to the Foreign Office in London. I've talked to our ministers about this initiative. They're very enthusiastic about it as well. And why is that? Well, the reason is that what we see this as is not just a developing dialogue and discussion. That's important. It's a way of bridging between our traditional allies. The United States, of course, is a very important partner for Britain in the world and has been for many years, but also then to bridge across into those new relationships with new partnerships with emerging economies, as we call it in this context. And I hope what that will do is partly to stimulate new ideas and new dialogue. It's partly also to help to create a group of people who have a shared interest in that dialogue. I hope that that group of people will continue to share an interest in dialogue over a longer period of time, and that group of people will stay together and will continue to share an interest. And I think what we need to do and to recognise is that if I'm talking about partnerships in the world, I'm talking about new partnerships for Britain and for all of us, frankly, but those partnerships also happen at an individual, at a personal level. For every individual in that room, I hope this is a new and a really important partnership for them.